Hi there, everybody. It is Sunday, February 21st. We had a strange and terrible week last week. I know many of you possibly lost power in 0-degree weather. Perhaps you had pipes burst. Perhaps you lost access to fresh water. I understand that that happened to um, quite a number of people. My house happened to be and happens to be on the grid of a fire station, and so we never lost power or water. I did help, my family out, though, open my home to them when they needed places to stay. So, everybody had to deal with a lot of issues last week, and thus, as you know, if you read my email or Blackboard, I have changed the due date for paper number 1 to Wednesday at 11:59 PM. So if you have any questions about that due date, please let me know. I have been responding to emails as quickly as I can. Don't forget that you are allowed to get 5 extra points on your paper if you submit it for extra credit to the Writing Center. You can either do a synchronous appointment with any of the writing centers or submit it for comments like I made on your rough draft. I will hold my regular office hours tomorrow, so if you would like to come and talk to me at that time, feel free to do so. Um, Remember, the paper should be in proper MLA format, and I have a folder with 2 documents in it that I've posted on the front of Blackboard lessons page a few weeks ago called MLA format, so I suggest you look in that folder for documents and lectures and information on creating proper MLA format. Please read my comments on your rough draft if you have not done so. One of the major things that I would like to mention that occurred in many, certainly the majority of the papers I read, is the lack of an argumentative thesis. And if you read my literary analysis PowerPoints, you'll note that creating a thesis for a literary analysis paper is creating an argument. You are interpreting A Raisin in the Sun in your own way, and that way may not be the way that other people see it. Remember, your audience is me and your classmates. And of course, you can also assume a general audience of people who have read the play, who are open to different interpretations, and can be persuaded by your interpretation. That interpretation slash argument slash debatable thesis is what guides the rest of your paper. So um, I have actually moved. I've just copied. They're also in the week 3 folder, but I have copied the 2 PowerPoints called How to Write a Literary Analysis Essay, Part 1 and 2, to the front of lessons. So if you've not looked at those PowerPoints, please do so because they really have a way to set up your paper, as well as 2 model thesis sentences that you can choose from. Remember to read the checklist for revision, which I posted before last week's weather episodes. And go ahead and reread that, and that can give you some direction on how to revise and expand your paper as well. Um, let's see. What I have also posted on the lessons page, and you'll see this when you go to the lessons page to watch this lecture, is a sample student paper on A Raisin in the Sun. Now, that student's paper has a thesis sentence that is not like any other thesis that I read from any of you who I'm teaching this semester. So that way, you won't be able to just take ideas from that paper and directly incorporate them into your paper. I would like you to read that sample paper, though, because it's an excellent example of a paper that sets up an argument through the thesis and then proves the argument using transitions, evidence, and analysis, and concludes it all so that we believe the argument, so that we may have gone into reading the paper not quite agreeing with the point of view of that particular student, but by the end we do, based on the reading of the paper. This coming week is week 6 of the class. In the week 5 folder, I have posted several documents, and I'm just catching up with that, as many of you are catching up because of what happened this past week. So I do understand that people are in catch up mode, and therefore try and find some time to look at all of what the PowerPoints and lectures that I've posted. I posted 2 PowerPoints that don't have a lecture attached. One of them is on plot and the short story, and the other is on narration and the short story. Then I have posted 3 PowerPoint/lectures that are connected to YouTube. One is about The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin, and the other 2 are about The Cask of Amontillado. Each of those lectures is about 15 minutes or less. That's why I wanted to divide The Cask of Amontillado into 2 lectures, because it is a challenging story, and there are a lot of elements that I needed to talk about separately, so I divided it into 2 lectures. This coming week is week 6, and I will be posting more notes as the week goes on. The 3 stories that we're reading this coming week are called Volar on page 145, A Rose for Emily on page 295, and Sunny's Blues on page 225. Now, Volar is very short. It's about 2 pages, kind of like The Story of an Hour. A Rose for Emily is medium length, but it has a very challenging, complicated timeline. It doesn't start at the beginning of the story. It starts in the middle, in media res, and it actually brings up something that's occurred somewhat at the end, then goes back through the various points of Emily Grierson's life. Sunny's Blues is a very long story, so keep that in mind. Not very long as in the same length as A Raisin in the Sun, but a fairly long short story. We're also looking at character and setting in week 6. So those notes I will start posting tomorrow. Of course, it may not be until the following weekend when I post them, as we're all trying to get caught up. Also on the calendar is a quiz and a discussion board next week. The quiz, I am moving to Sunday, February 28th. The quiz will not be due Wednesday. I will not post a quiz. What is due Wednesday is your paper over A Raisin in the Sun. Then you should be in short story mode. And hopefully you're starting to get into short story mode now at the same time as you're finishing up your paper. So by next Sunday in a week, we'll have 2 assignments due at the same time, the discussion board and the quiz. I think that's all the notes I have for now. Feel free to email me and let me know if you have any questions. All right, bye-bye.